Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. If you guys are new, my name's Liz and I'm really excited because today is my very first Christmas DIYs of the season. I can't wait to continue to break into all my Christmas totes and getting all my Christmas stuff out. So I am really excited to be crafting Christmas DIYs for you guys. And even better, today is actually a collab with so many beautiful and talented ladies here on YouTube, hosted by Nadia with DIY with Nadia and co-host with Leanie from Crafty Leanie. We all chose a Christmas song to base our DIYs around, and I chose Jingle Bells, and I took it very literally and added bells into all of my DIYs. So I can't wait for you guys to see them. There will be a playlist linked in my description box below for you guys to click on and check out all the videos from everybody in today's collab. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our first DIY. For this DIY, I grabbed up one of these bless signs from the Dollar Tree. I especially love this because it had that wood look frame. I just started by popping the back off from the frame and then removing that blessed word. And then I gave it one good coat of some Waverly white chalk paint just to make sure that all the glue residue and any kind of scratches and things like that were all nice and covered up. Now for this project, I'm going to take a COUTURE transfer. This one was perfect because it had the bells on the side and I just thought that those were really cute. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the bells apart from the rest of the transfer. And then as per usual, you're going to fuzz and fuzz and fuzz your transfer until you can't fuzz anymore to make sure that it is not sticky, so that it's not going to leave any residue or be a pain to peel up from the project. I'm just going to lay my bells down and center them where I like them on the back of the sign. I'm going to rub down really well to make sure that I'm not going to get any bleeding. And then I'm actually going to use a paste single because I did not have this color in the bigger jar. And it is this shimmer gold that I just think is really pretty. So I just squeezed a little bit out onto my project, and then I'm just going to use my little squeegee tool to just go over the entire transfer. And I always just tape up my single packets of chalk paste so that I can continue to use them later. Just make sure that you don't squeeze out too much because there's not really any place for you to put it afterwards. Once I've gotten that all on there, I'll just remove the transfer, and look how cute this turned out. I just absolutely love the gold bells on the white background. So I am just going to kind of spruce the sign up a little bit more. I took this pick that I got from Walmart. It was 98 cents, and I'm just going to kind of cut a whole bunch of pieces off of it. So I'm going to take this back piece, I'm going to cut it into two separate pieces. And then I'm also going to take one of these buffalo check bows that I got for $1.98 at Walmart. And then I'm also going to cut off some of those red berries that were on that same pick. Now I'm just going to start assembling everything. So I'm going to put a little glue in all the corners of the sign, and then I'm going to put the back of the sign back into the frame. So I'm going to start by hot gluing the pieces of my pick down. I ended up cutting a couple more pieces off just to make it look a little bit more full, especially when I put the bow down. I wanted to make sure that you could see that. And then I went through and hot glued my berries down all over, just where I thought that you would be able to see them once I put the bow down. And then I just finish off by hot gluing my bow to the middle, and that's it for this DIY. I think this one turned out so stinking cute. If you're coming from any of the other channels, my name's Liz. If you haven't met before, hey, how's it going? I love everything DIY and crafty, Dollar Tree DIYs, and so many other DIYs thrown out there. Michael's and Hobby Lobby are probably my all-time favorite stores. And if you didn't know, I also make and sell wood craft kits. You can find those on my website, linked in my description box. If you're liking this video so far, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Stay a while. Stick around. Let's get into our next DIY. For this DIY, I wanted to make a swag slash door hanger for this one. I love swag. I think it's really, really cute, but I wanted to kind of make a minier version to go on a door. So I'm going to start by taking a whole bunch of picks that I had in my stash, and then I had also picked a couple more up from Walmart in their 98-cent section with their Christmas picks. So I just started by tearing them apart. I tried to figure out how to do this without tearing them apart, and I couldn't figure it out. So I felt like it was best for me to cut them apart and then be able to put them exactly where I want each piece. So all I'm going to do for this is just kind of lay my pieces out. I have this bigger piece in my stash that I kind of used as a base, and then all the other pieces that I'm going to cut off from the other picks, I'm just going to kind of play around with the placement, and then I use floral wire to attach them all. So I just kind of stayed in that teardrop type of shape. So with that in mind, I just started wiring pieces together. There really is no rhyme or reason on how to do this, no technique. You're just going to cut your picks apart, place them where you think is looking good. If you see a sparse spot, put a piece of a pick there and wire it to the back, and just keep doing that over and over until you have it the way that you liked it. So I used multiple different pieces of picks here, some with flocked, some with that aren't. And then I'm going to grab these large white bells from the Dollar Tree. I had 2 of them. The first one I just hung over the top part, and then the second one I wrapped around a couple branches in the back so that it was nice and sturdy. You could always wire it to the back, but I just felt like since it already had the twine, they could kind of just hang where they wanted. And then I did take a couple pieces of red berries from the picks, and I did end up hot gluing those into the swag. And then lastly, I'm going to make a bow. Now, I tried several different ways to make this bow. I am not a professional bow maker. I can make the simple bows really easy, but the more complicated ones, I'm just not so good at. So I just started by cutting 2 loops that were pretty long. I didn't measure them. I just kind of placed them on top of the swag to see how long I wanted them to be. And then I cut 2 more at a smaller length. And then I hot glued the ends together. So I ended with a total of 4 loops. I crisscrossed the 2 larger loops on top of each other, and then I'm going to add the 2 smaller loops on top of that, and then I just kind of bunched them all up in the middle. And then I took a pipe cleaner and wrapped it around the middle part of my bow to keep it all nice and tight. And then I needed some tails, so I'm just going to take some more ribbon. I just kind of eyeballed how long I wanted those tails to be, cut them off, and then folded that piece of ribbon in half, stuck it behind the bow, and used the rest of the pipe cleaner to twist that and hold it into place. Now for the middle portion of my bow, and to cover up the pipe cleaner, I took another piece of ribbon, folded it into thirds, and then wrapped it around the middle of the bow. I just hot glued it in place. And then I grabbed this bell door hanger from the Dollar Tree. I needed it for the actual door hanger part. I didn't have anything quite this big in my stash, so when I saw this, I thought it'd be perfect. I'm just going to take it completely apart to the bare bones. So I just removed the bells, and then I'm going to remove the twine or string that was around the door hanger part originally. And then to cover it back up, I'm just going to use some twine. I just hot glue the first part in place, and then I'm just going to take it around and around and around and around until it is completely covered. This is probably the part that took the longest with this project. So I mean, maybe you don't have to do this part. Maybe you could spray paint it instead, so it's not just that solid kind of plasticky looking black.
but I did feel like the twine added a bit of rustic touch to it, and I just thought it was really cute. So once that is done, just to finish it off, I'm going to add some more glue and then wrap the rest of my twine around, and that's just going to secure it all in place. Now to attach the door hanger to the swag, I added some twine around the top of the swag and then tied it to the door hanger. And then I wanted to cover up those branches at the top, and I wanted it to match my bow, so I took some more of that ribbon that I used with my bow, and I just started wrapping it around the top of the swag and then in through the door hanger, back around the front to the back, and then I just hot glued that in place. And then once that's done, I'm just going to hot glue my bow directly to the top of the swag, and that is it for this DIY. For this project, we're going to take one of these signs from the Dollar Tree. We're also going to take some of these wooden shapes from the Dollar Tree. They are in the shape of bells, which I thought was so much fun. This is the first time that I have seen them this year. So I'm going to take the back out of the frame. I'm going to take some of this cardstock that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's in that really pretty shiplap pattern. I just measured out the back of the sign, cut that out, and then I'm just going to use my glue stick to adhere it to the back. I'll place the back of the sign back into the frame, and then I'm going to get working on painting those bells. So I had some metallic gold and some metallic silver from Folk Art, and I just gave 3 of these a coat of the gold, and then I painted 3 of these in the silver. The silver I did have to do about 3 coats each. It wasn't as opaque as the gold was, and with the gold I still did about 2 coats of paint. Once that is all done, I laid them out in a pattern so that they went gold, silver, silver, gold, gold, silver. You can see how I laid them out on here, and then I'm just going to hot glue them down to my sign. And then to just add a little finishing touch, I'm going to take one of those buffalo check bows from Walmart, and I am just going to hot glue it directly to the top middle portion of the frame. And that is it for this one. For this DIY, I'm going to take one of these sleds that you can get from the Dollar Tree. How fun is this? I'm going to start by staining it with my Waverly Wax and Antique. And I'm going to put this all over the legs. Is that what you call the bottom portion? I don't know what they're called. But I'm going to stain all of the sides and the bottom portion, leaving the top of the sled where you sit alone. I'm going to be painting that white, but everything else is going to get this Waverly Wax. And one thing to notice is it kind of looks like they put glue almost everywhere. You can see where the wax isn't sticking to the sled. So, you know, I mean, I guess it adds a little bit of a distressed look to it, but I just thought that, you know, maybe it'd be better to paint these if you don't like that, so that everything is covered up. But if you're going to stain it, just keep that in mind. There's some glue spots just about everywhere where your stain is not going to stick. And then for the top portion, like I said, I'm just going to give that one good coat of my Waverly chalk paint in white. Once that is completely dry, again, I'm going to take my COUTURE transfer. This one is the mini Christmas transfer, and look at all the fun little mini transfers that you get. I just think that these are so cute and perfect because there was one that said Jingle All the Way. and I knew that I wanted to use that in today's project. How fitting was that? So I'm going to cut that out, and then again, I'm just going to fuzz and fuzz and fuzz. And if you have not heard of COUTURE, or you've wanted to try it but you haven't, a good way to start out with COUTURE is their Club Couture, which is $20 a month, and it comes with a B-size transfer and some single paste to go along with it. So if you're just wanting to try it out, see if you like it, that is a good option. I always have COUTURE linked in my description box. So I started out pasting this in red and didn't end up liking it. So I waited for it to dry. I repainted white on top of it, and then I went back in with that shimmery gold, and I love it so much more. I am so excited. I accidentally squeezed a little bit too much of the gold paste out, so I just applied it really, really thick, and I actually love the way that it turned out. And then to give it a little finishing touch, I added one of these red buffalo check bows. Again, they came from Walmart, and I just hot glued that to the side of my sled. Added some twine back for the handles of the sled, and that is it for this one. How cute would this be on a tiered tray? I just think it turned out absolutely adorable. For this DIY, I'm going to take one of these wooden houses that come in a 3-pack from the Target dollar spot for $5. I had already started painting it, forgot to show what it looked like before, but it just comes in a plain wood color, and I chose the medium-sized one. And I'm going to paint this with my Waverly chalk paint in white. I just painted the entire thing. And then I took some of this ribbon that I found at Walmart. I thought this was so pretty with all the cute little snowflakes on there. And I'm going to cut enough that I'm going to be able to wrap it and tie it around my house. Now, I wanted this to be frayed, so I cut off the sides and I pulled the strings so that the edges were all nice and frayed and kind of messy and distressed looking. Once I've got it as frayed as I like it, I'm going to wrap it around the house to the front, and I'm going to tie it in a tight double knot. I'm going to take some of these rusty bells that I got in a pack from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to take 2 of those. I'm going to hot glue those down, and then I took some scrap pieces of some Christmas picks that I had and just hot glued those right down in there. And that's it for this DIY. Really easy and simple, but I think it turned out so cute.
And that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Give this video a big thumbs up if you did. Remember to click that link in my description box below so that you can check out everybody's videos from today's collab. Show them some love and give them a kind comment. Let them know which project of theirs that you love. Don't forget to subscribe before you guys leave, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.